working overtime to take this thing and twist it and turn it into something else, which to me, I'm like, well, it must be pretty stinking good. If Satan's working that overtime, it must be so good in the context that God created it, if Satan is going to twist it so many different ways to take it out of that context. So I think if we're looking at it, like Dee said, scripturally, it is an expression of a commitment that you only make when you say I do, and only after that. So
having sex outside of marriage is doing with your body what you're not willing to do with your life. Catch that? It's doing with your body what you're not willing to do with your life. In marriage, you are giving yourself entirely to this other person. You're saying, I am yours till death do us part. You make vows and you commit. You make a covenant, a contract. And taking sex outside of that context, you're doing with your body what you're not willing to covenant to with your very life. And so it cheapens sex and it steals from that other person.
And I think one of the things that the question might assume, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but the question might assume that you're going to stay together and eventually get married. And I think that what actually happens, I know people that this has happened to. That's their thought, and then sex enters the picture, and there's a breakup that happens, and they thought that this was the person for them, but it's not until there's that commitment. And that's what I think these guys have been saying. Until that commitment is there, you just don't know, and things can change. So,
why is masturbation?
You said masturbation today. Well, I'll talk about masturbation. Okay, so the truth is that the Bible doesn't talk explicitly about masturbation. It doesn't use the word, doesn't refer to it. However, sex is designed to be a selfless act. It's designed to be about giving, not about getting. Right? Like that's God's design for sex, giving yourself to the other person, and seeking the pleasure and the satisfaction of the other person. Masturbation takes what is designed to be a selfless act and turns it into a selfish act. It takes what is supposed to be about giving and turns it into getting. So it takes what's about the other and turns it into something that's about me. And so for that reason, masturbation is a distortion of God's design for sexuality. A couple other thoughts on that. The other problem with masturbation is that typically, probably 99.9% of the time, masturbation is associated with lust. Nick cited that passage in Matthew earlier. Perhaps it's possible to masturbate without lusting. I don't know many people who can do that. No one talks about it that way. Usually, when you're masturbating, you're looking at pornography, or you're fantasizing about something, right? And so lust is involved. Pornography is a serious distortion of God's intention for sex. I personally started looking at porn when I was in 8th grade, for all the way up until my junior year of college, all the time. Regular problem, regular struggle. And I watched what it did to my mind and did to the way I thought about girls and about relationships. And I saw the damage that it did to me personally. And God has worked a great healing in my life in that area. Brought complete freedom and purity from there. But this is a really personal struggle for me, something that I've walked down. And masturbation ultimately and pornography is a cheap substitute for the real thing. And that's why typically when we engage in those actions, we walk away feeling ashamed. We go to that thinking that, oh, this will satisfy me, this will feel good. But at the end of the day, we walk away and we feel dirty, we feel shameful for engaging in that action. And so it's a distortion of God's plan. And a picture of this from pop culture, Hugh Hefner, you guys probably know who he is, founder of Playboy right here in Chicago. Hugh Hefner now, I read a story about him a few years ago that talked about kind of the way that porn and sex have damaged him. He no longer is capable of having sex with these beautiful girlfriends that he has. He would prefer to masturbate while he watches them do their thing. And it's just a tragic picture of the distortion of sex as it's engaged in that selfish rather than selfless manner. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just add too that there are consequences of our sin, and so like even just the self-gratification of masturbation is like, I think there will be consequences in marriage. It's like if you know how to please yourself, it may not, it just may not come that easy for your spouse to be able to do it, and so I think there will just be consequences of it.
How does Christian dating differ from normal dating? Other than what we've already said in past meetings, why should Christian dating look any different? What's special about it?
Well, one thought on this is begin with the end in mind. If the end goal is a marriage that images Christ in the church, that reflects the gospel message to a world that's watching, if that's the end goal, begin with that in mind. Date intentionally, date people with whom it could be a possibility that you could someday be in a marriage relationship with, running after the same goal, seeking to reflect Christ in the church to the world. So date other people who are pursuing Christ, not date whoever's most attractive or whoever's most interesting or whoever has the most money.
Thinking about the answer to this question, I think the most simple difference is that there are two Christians. And Christians, period, in life are so much different from the world that Christian dating should be just like a parallel to that. You have two people who are seeking God wholly and fully going in the same direction, seeking to be sanctified, seeking to be holy, seeking to be as close to God as possible. And I don't think that I think that it's the same as walking a Christian life. I mean, we go into practical differences. Obviously, there are sexual purity type of things that is not as emphasized, is not as much of a concern with normal dating. But I think the element of two Christians in a relationship is what basically makes it different, because you don't have that same commitment to God. You don't have those same boundaries. You don't have that same goal in mind when you're of the world versus when you are of the world. So I mean, that's just the way I thought about it.
I think to piggyback off that, I kind of think of it as, like for me, my final hope does not rest in Mike, and Mike's final hope does not rest in me. And that's honestly like really freeing to date somebody like that when you're both pursuing after Christ, like Demetrius was talking about, and seeking after his heart and trying to emulate how Christ has loved me, but and